Um, I would say for me, like I said before, I just think that seeing this work in action is so inspiring for my own personal life, but also just to give me some hope for the future. There is change being made, and in all of the policies that we saw today, there is so much progress and representation that we haven't really seen even in the past just few years. So I just love to see all the work that's being done.
Yeah, I think to follow up on that, a lot of people, there's a negative stigma about Gen Z, about youth. Oh, they're lazy. Oh, they're addicted to their phones. Yada, yada, yada. You can go on and on. Oh, they're spoiled. But people should be scared of Gen Z, in all honesty. Um, I mean, just in this room, we saw a couple of very powerful policies, legislation, things that are going to change the future. And I'm sure you all are aware of what's happening across college campuses around the country, regardless of your political views. Young people are taking a stand. A lot of people are, which should be scary to those in power and those in legislation, policy positions, because when we get mad, when Gen Z gets mad, when we don't like something, we're going to try and change it. People think we're going to stand down, but as you can see in this today, in this summit, in these policies, we're not going to stand down. We're going to stand up for what we believe is right, and we're going to work at it. So yeah, thank you to all the policy.
I had a couple notes that I was just taking away that I think are very impactful, or just something that I'm using for my own development in the future. So from our first presentation, it is really thinking about the importance of investing in non-clinical interventions. I think so much of the mental health field is centered around that clinical piece of get a therapist, go to therapy, and all of that, and there are so many different aspects and opportunities for healing if we just broaden our perspectives with that. I think additionally with the peer support program that it helped with thinking about the legitimacy of peer support work as well. It's often not seen as a healing practice, but I think through programs like this, through investment, through opportunities of sharing out that information, it really highlights that peer support is a huge, huge benefit to our youth population and people in general. Additionally, when it comes to just thinking about the exposure opportunities that are presented with that, in a way, programs like this, the policies that we've talked about so far, it's contributing to a generation of wellness. And that's something that we really need to start investing in and thinking about how we can continue to promote. And when it comes to some of the other interventions, I think it's really important that we also think about how we can do this in a more proactive and prevention sense as opposed to just the more reactive opportunity as well. When we think about how we can prevent harm in the first place, a lot more people can be protected and saved in that sense. And then the last thing I'll say is a quote that I feel like today really reminded me of. I might not get it perfectly, but it's by Glenn E. Martin, that the people closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but furthest from resources and power. So as we continue to do this work, I think it's really important that we remember and continue to make sure that, again, the people, the youth that are closest to youth mental health, that they are closest to the solutions, they are closest to everything that we need for the future development of this work. So let's make sure that we continue to make sure that they are the center of these interventions, these policies, and this work. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that, but thank you so much for your time.
I don't want to shy away from the fact that I have felt rather hopeless sometimes in the work that I do. But I think that it's just times like these where I meet other youth who are doing such incredible things and making real change that it really inspires me and makes me hopeful for a better future. So I don't know, I just wanted to put that out there that no matter how hopeless it feels, there's gonna be people out there who are fighting for change, fighting for justice. And so I think it's important to keep that in the forefront of your mind and not forget.
Yeah, just briefly, I just wanted to echo all my other panelists. I think it's amazing to see all of the lived experience experts that are up here today. And I also just want to thank all of the policy presenters as well. I think there's huge power when it comes to lived experience, and I think this summit is really a true testament to that. Thank you.
Also want to shout out our tech team. Thank you so much, DB Productions, if you ever need some tech work, for fixing all of those technical issues. I'm not sure the order we want to go in. We have a couple announcements. First and foremost, tonight, 6 to 8 p.m. at the University of Utah S.J. Quinney College of Law. There's invites out on the table. You all should have some on your desks in front of you as well. This is our first annual networking event in addition to the second annual Youth-Led Policy Summit. We've got a bunch of legislators coming, nonprofit leaders, business leaders, activists, organizers, the incredible YAB, a lot of people in this room. That's gonna be an incredible event. I know it's in a couple hours and that's rough. I also, I wanna go home and go to sleep, but I'm not going to. We're gonna power through. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have light refreshments. Please do come. Invite anyone you think is interested in this space. It's for youth, by youth, just like this is. Jessica's being easy for a second, but we have something just came through, an email we wanted to make you aware of because it's extremely relevant to everything we've been talking about today.
I'm sorry. This is more pertinent for Utah folks. Just wanted to pass some information along. So some of you may know the Utah State Utah State Board of Education has a student advisory committee made up of students from around the state to help influence policy and change within Board of Education. This Friday, the USBE Law and Licensing Committee will discuss the possibility of repealing the board's student advisory committee. So if anyone's interested, people can provide public comment. You'll need to sign up to provide public comment in the actual meeting. You can also provide written public comments. So it's Friday at 8 a.m., which is no one's favorite time of day. Friday at 8 a.m., it's on the agenda as item 2.5. So just as information for you all, very relevant to the work that we are doing here and the impact of young people on what we do. So for Utah folks that are online and in the room, just wanted to make sure that we pass that information along, as well as just additional information for the networking event. There are protests happening on campus, as there are on campuses around the country. So just be mindful of that as you come to campus, and just keep that in mind as you're traveling. So I will pass it back. Thank you.
Yeah, and just final words. Thank you all for coming, participating, ideating, chatting. In between breaks, it was beautiful to see you all interact with the youth, learn from the youth, and genuinely, thank you for being here and making this space and keeping these things in mind. And it's beautiful to watch people take notes and chat amongst themselves and get ideas. I'm really happy we closed out with the Salt Lake County YAB today. I think they are an extraordinary, stellar example of what we could do and what this could be. So double shout out to them, yes. And for yourselves for coming as well. And for our team, DHHS, CLASP, everybody here. Corey, thank you. Nami, thank you. Thank you. And Chloe, do you have something, Sharon? Okay, perfect. I saw something the other day. I'm trying to think of the exact quote. It was basically, support the youth or get out of their way, which I generally, yes, agree with, love that sentiment. But maybe I'm finding at the end of today, it's support the youth and get out of their way, is what I'm finding in this room. So thank you all so much. I'll pass it to Sharon. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Kelsey and Jessica, Corey, Theo, and all that were involved in this fantastic policy summit. I can't wait for tonight and for tomorrow as well. Thank you to the panelists and all the presentations today. Just wanted to make last mention of the resources in the back of the room. You'll notice the Live on your swag bags and some of the materials. Live On is a campaign that we started here in Utah for suicide prevention. It's a statewide effort for suicide prevention where we provide education, promote resources, and we're changing culture around suicide prevention and mental health. And our mantra of hope is that together we can get through. We reach out, lift up, look ahead, and live on. So please check that out. This is our website. We're very proud that we were the first in the nation to start a suicide prevention playbook. That's because we believe everyone has the power to prevent suicide, and that it does include you. That does include youth. You'll notice here that here's our playbook here, and it was the first ever course on Instagram, by the way. So thank you for sharing that, Jessica, online too. And if you do the playbook, you'll notice that they're really short courses. They're about 5 minutes. And you can become a suicide ambassador by taking these really short courses. And then lastly, there is a youth resource. So if you go to the resource page on our Live On website, there is youth, there is LGBTQ plus as well. So all of these will have all of our youth resources for suicide prevention, which Brandon mentioned prevention, and I think that's really important. So again, thank you so much for being here, and please take some swag, the swag bags, take some more food with you, and we'll see you tonight.